How about bringing me a chicken salad sandwich? Hold the mayo, hold the lettuce, and hold the chicken.
It's the Fred Allen Show. Judge for yourself. With Bob Carroll and Judy Johnson.
It's always a pleasure to introduce a man I've had a great thrill working with and for, Mr. Fred Allen. Here he is.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Judge for Yourself. Last week, as you perhaps read in the newspapers, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the history of the world, a man ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. He was a young British medical student named Roger Bannister. Now, we have a man in this country who can run faster than Mr. Bannister. He's not known as a runner, but you have never seen anything fast until you have seen Jack Benny on his way to the bank. And then I think that the record will be back here in no time at all. Of course, it's a little a late date to tell you that to advise you rather, or to hint rather, that that Mr. Benny is cheap. But he's the only son I know who sends a telegram to his mother on Mother's Day, and the telegram is collect. And I know that he's the only man living in Beverly Hills who has a burglar alarm on his garbage can. You know, there's an old saying, you can't take it with you. But sometime in the distant future, ladies and gentlemen, if you see a funeral procession by any other name is fatal, if you see... As you're dead when it's upon you. But if you see a funeral procession going along the road, and right behind the hearse you see a Brinks armored car, you'll know that Mr. Benny is having a go at it. But so much for old pistachio pockets, ladies and gentlemen. We are here tonight for a worthy cause. To help us finish another day, to do our show, Judge for Yourself. And, of course, here's how it works.
These contestants are going to listen to 3 up-and-coming songs written by top professional composers. They can win $1,000 if they can match the musical tastes of the public and pick the one song our audience likes best. And now back to Fred Allen.
Well, thank you, Don. That's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. The makers of Old Gold cigarettes have $1,000 here tonight, and they certainly hope that one of our contestants will win and take this money off of the premises. Now, our first contestant we want you to meet tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. 5'8" Smith. Mr. Smith, welcome to our premises here. If you'll sit down, sir. I can get even with you if you sit down. With our compliments, we want you to have a carton of Old Golds for your smoking pleasure. Now, Mr. Smith, your name here, I understand, is 5'8" Smith. Is that right?
That's right, Fred.
Just 5'8", sir.
5'8" Smith.
You mean that as I am talking to you here now, you are not all there?
Yes, sir, all here.
You're all here, all accounted for. Well, what is 5'8"? What is it, a nickname or a name you've picked up?
No, sir, my dad gave me that name the day I was born.
He gave you that name? Well, while your father was naming you 5'8", he must have been celebrating with 1/5. He must have... Tell me, whatever possessed your father to name you after a fraction?
Well, there were so many Smiths where I live that they ran out of first names.
Oh, and they got into the numerals, huh?
That's right.
And there is no one Smith, is there? There's just 5'8".
5'8" Smith.
Well, don't people, as you go through life, don't people kid you a lot about your name?
Yes, sir, they kid me. Sometimes they call me 10/16 reduced.
Yeah.
And I usually tell them that I'm 5'8" Smith and 3/8 something else.
You don't qualify the something else. Well, tell me, you are probably the only man alive who can write his name on an adding machine.
That's right.
Now, in your letter here, Mr. Smith, you say that, or may I call you 5'8"? You don't mind,
yes,
you? Well, in your letter here, 5'8", you say that you are from... I'm killing myself. Why? I don't know. You are from the town of Pearson, Georgia. Well, tell me, what do you do to attempt to survive down in Pearson, Georgia?
Well, I run a jewelry store, and
Yeah.
I sell insurance,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm on the city council, and I'm also mayor pro tem, Pearson.
Mayor pro tem. You're on the city council, too?
Yes, sir.
What are your functions on the council?
Well, we authorize improvements such
Oh.
as we're planning to build a new city hospital,
Uh-huh.
2 tobacco warehouses, and
Oh, say.
extend our sewer.
Oh, you extend your sewer, too.
Yes, sir.
You haven't anybody living in your sewer down there, have you? We found a boy here over in Brooklyn living in a sewer yesterday. Was very happy there. Had a sunken living room and running water. He was really well pleased. Well, I tell you, it's been nice talking to you, Mr. Smith, and now it's time for you to try your skill at judging our songs. And our first up-and-coming song tonight is called 13 Women. It was recently recorded by Decca Records, and here is Bob Carroll with 13 Women. Thank you very much.
There were 13 women and only one man in town. There were 13 women and only one man in town. And as funny as it may be, the one and only man in town was me, with 13 women and only one man in town. Now 2 gals brought me money, and 2 gals brought me my clothes, and another sweet thing brought a diamond ring, about 40 carats, I suppose. With 13 women and only one man in town. There were 13 women and only one man in town. Crazy as it may be, the one and only man in town was me, with 13 women and only one man in town. Now 2 gals brought me money, 2 gals brought me my clothes, and another sweet thing brought a diamond ring, about 40 carats, I suppose. There were 13 women and only one man in town. Yes, 13 women and only one man in town. And as funny as it may be, the one and only man in town was me, with 13 women and only one man in town. Yes, 13 women and only one man in town. With 13 women and me, the only man in town.
That was 13 women, ladies and gentlemen, and here is our next contestant, one man, Mr. Max Asness. Max, if you will come over here, we'd like to engage you in small talk. With our Mr. Max, I know that you are the owner of the popular stage delicatessen here in New York City, and you have plenty of cigarettes. You have Old Golds in your store, I'm sure, in your delicatessen. We want you to have a carton of king-size Old Golds for your smoking pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Now, Max, this is your second appearance on our show. You have the gruesome distinction of being the first contestant to ever play a return engagement on our show.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Now, Max, you know, a lot of people have been saying recently that under the new administration, business has been off. Now, as a businessman, how do you find business?
Fred, business in restaurant business has nothing to do with any other business.
Uh-huh.
The stomach doesn't know no depression or any other...
The stomach doesn't know who's in the White House.
Who's in the White House or who's in any house.
Well, how has business been in your delicatessen?
In my delicatessen, we're very busy and very crowded.
You're very crowded, huh?
Yes.
At all times, huh?
It's so crowded that sometimes the people, the customers, they eat the food inside, but they swallow it on the outside. They haven't got time to finish it.
Oh, you mean they're so crowded and they have to go outside to digest the food?
Very.
Well, of course, Max, with all of the people bolting pastrami and salami, you won't have to buy any fuel in the delicatessen next winter. You can heat the place with your customer's heartburn in there. Well, tell me, since you've enlarged your place, you know, it's practically it's all new now. Do your old customers still come into the new place?
I think the most of them, yes.
Uh-huh.
As a fact, one customer, one of the handouts, came in
What do you mean, a
handout.
handout? The fellow who comes in and asks for a
For
sandwich?
a sandwich, yes.
Uh-huh.
He comes in the other day and he says to me, Max, you know, since you fixed over the joint,
The joint, huh?
Yeah, he says, that's the way he said it. He says, I don't look presentable enough to come in. And I says, well, what I'm supposed to do? He says, well, get me a suit.
You mean a new suit? This tramp didn't want to come in looking like a bum, huh?
So I tried to give him a suit.
Uh-huh.
Didn't fit him.
Well, as long as the sandwich fit him, that's the main thing. Well, Max, I know that when you're feeding hundreds of people daily, it must be a headache. Now, don't you ever have any complaints from your patrons?
There is complaints in every business.
Uh-huh.
The funniest complaint I had is when a customer ordered a corned beef sandwich,
A corned beef sandwich?
and he sends it back with the waiter, and finally the waiter comes to me and says, what is wrong with the corned beef? He says, I can't talk to him. I brought him over 2 sandwiches, and he still complains. I walked over to the customer and says, what is wrong with the sandwich?
Uh-huh.
He says, I don't like the color of the sandwich. I says, mister, you don't need no sandwich. You need is a painter.
A painter? Well,
So he says to me, don't be so fresh to me.
Uh-huh.
I says, I'm a customer. I says, what do you expect to be for this price? As a partner?
Oh, I see. Well, you had a point there, but it was lost in the shuffle. Now, tell me, you have a ready tongue, Max, and I imagine in the delicatessen business you must have a ready tongue. But I know the last time we talked to you, you told me that you had come over here from Russia years ago. How did you like it in Russia?
If I would like it, I would be there.
Well, how many years ago were you over there?
Oh, I left 1920 Russia.
Was communism in effect at that time?
That's
It was,
right. I
wasn't
was
it?
3 years with the communism.
Well, didn't you like communism?
I was a little time, but I hated him a lot.
Oh, I see.
You have to know him to not to like him. You know him a little longer, you hate him.
Well, I wish we could discover, we might find the solution of the whole thing and end up down in Washington tomorrow. But unfortunately, our time is up, Max, and it's time for you now to test your skill at judging our songs. And our second song tonight is a romantic ballad called I Understand. It was recently recorded by R.C.A. Victor. You don't have a jukebox in your place, do you? Well, you can hear it tonight, and then you won't have to get a jukebox. And here is Judy Johnson to sing it for you, I Understand. was I understand. Now, I know that you folks, you ladies and gentlemen, have been watching the Senate committee hearings every day. That's the great indoor pastime these past 2 weeks. And for the last 3 days, the senators have been trying to expedite things. Well, actually, things are pretty confusing down there in Washington. I was reading about a senator the other day who dreamed that he was making a speech at the McCarthy hearing, and when he woke up, he found out that he really was, which certainly was quite a surprise to him. But now, we'll have Sid Shiva for that. Thank you, Dennis, and very well done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is our next contestant on Judge for Yourself, Miss Sally Pickett. Sally Pickett, you're the first Pickett I've ever seen sitting down, actually. Quite a novelty. Now, we want you to have a carton of Old Golds, regular-size Old Golds, for your smoking pleasure. Now, Sally, in your letter here, you say that you write that you are a senior in Monticello College. Where is Monticello College exactly?
In Godfrey, Illinois.
Godfrey?
That's right.
You mean that Arthur has a town named after him?
Not quite. No, it's named for Captain Benjamin Godfrey.
Oh, Benjamin Godfrey.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it might be an honor that had been conferred on Arthur for some place that he'd buzzed that we hadn't heard of. Tell me, who was Captain Godfrey? Well, he wasn't with the other network either, was he?
No, he was an old sea-time-faring man, and he had 5 daughters, and he came to around the area around Alton and St. Louis, and felt that women should have the same rights to education as men, so he built a school for them.
Well, that's pretty nice. Monticello. Now, Eddie Cantor had 5 daughters and didn't buy anything or build anything for them. And I'm terribly sorry that we can't discuss our problems here because I wanted to ask you more about the college and the things that you're studying there. But suddenly the time is upon us. Our time comes very suddenly upon us in television, and especially on this show, because things are flying around, everything but dialogue. And now your time and my time has come, obviously, for our final song that you're going to try to judge. And this is called Happy Habit. It's from the new musical called By the Beautiful Sea. And here's our whole Judge for Yourself ensemble to sing it for you, Happy Habit.
Laughing is a happy habit. If you got teeth, flash the whole set.
Half enough laughs is what we don't get. Don't you throw that laughing habit away. Happy habit keeps you happy all day.
Giving is a happy habit. If you got dough, dig in that pot.
If you got no dough, give what you've got. Don't you throw that giving habit away.
I got one but more, a little bit less, a little bit more.
Got good habits, got 'em galore. And I ain't breaking any lovin'.
It's a happy habit. If you got love, that's enough said.
If you ain't got love, brother, you're dead.
Don't you throw that loving habit away.
Happy habit keeps you happy all day. I have slipped a bit, a little bit less, a little bit more.
I got habits from the Lord.
And I ain't breaking any lovin'.
It's a happy habit.
If you got love,
That's enough said.
if you ain't got love,
Brother, you're dead.
don't you throw that loving habit away.
Happy habit keeps you happy all day.
Letting off steam makes you feel swell.
Words I can't say, I usually spell.
Happy habit keeps you happy all day.
Woman plus man, husband plus wife.
A baby plus baby, rest of your life. Don't you throw that loving. Happy loving habit away.
It's judging time. If any of our contestants can pick the one song our audience likes best, he can win $1,000. If there is more than one winner, the contestants will share the prize.
All right, now, each of our contestants, ladies and gentlemen, has selected a card naming the song that he or she likes the best. But first, let us find out which song our audience likes the best.
You will see the results on this special meter, which adds up the exact amount of applause you give each song. The first song you heard tonight was 13 Women.
13 women and only one man in town. There was 13 women and me, the only man in town.
Our next song was I Understand.
I understand just how you feel. Your love for me, why not reveal? I understand.
Our last song was Happy Habit.
Loving is a happy habit. Don't you throw that happy habit away.
Our old gold applause meter, ladies and gentlemen, tells us that the song the audience liked the best was I Understand. And now let us find out if any of our contestants has selected the winning song. Which song have you selected, Mr. Smith? Congratulations. I Understand. And Max, which song have you selected? You've got a photo finish here coming up. And Miss Pickett, which song have you selected? I'm terribly sorry.
The contestants who matched the audience tonight are 5'8" Smith and Max Asness, and they divide $1,000.
Congratulations, Max and Mr. Smith. The makers of Old Gold cigarettes are certainly happy to have you split our first prize of $1,000 tonight. Now, what are you going to do with the money, Max?
I'll give this to the Actors Fund.
To the Actors Fund. Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, I can't talk to you. This is our last program of the season, ladies and gentlemen. And next week, starting its summer season, Old Gold will present Truth and Consequences, starring Jack Bailey. George Coham once said, if you can't leave them laughing, at least leave them. And that is what we are doing as of now, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice summer. See you in the fall. Good night. Good night.
Judge for yourself is a Mark Ritz and Bill Kaufman production.